I thought I didn't know how to talk about this stuff last time. This time, what did I just watch? Okay. Last month, I took a look at the first episodes of a couple of long-running British soap operas. One was Coronation Street, the other was Emmerdale. And I didn't really know how to talk about them very much, largely just because I thought I kind of saw what they were going for. It's just like so not my genre. So, reminder, I got commissioned through Patreon to take a look at these. You want to commission me to watch stuff that I won't know how to talk about? Sure, go ahead. Check out the Patreon. But this time, I thought that when I got to the ones that were from more recent times, that they might click with me better. No. No. So this time, I watched the first ever episodes of EastEnders and Hollyoaks. Let's start with EastEnders. Initially, it felt like it was going to start with a lot more punch than either of the two that I'd looked at before, because it literally starts with somebody kicking down a door and inside is a guy that they think might be dead. After that, okay, look, part of the difficulty for me is I'm real bad with names, so I cannot remember any of these characters' names. So that's probably deeply unhelpful, but this has the same kind of issue that Coronation Street first episode had, which was that very little happens, and I only kind of understood what did happen. It wasn't that I couldn't follow it. I could follow it. I didn't have a reason to care. I think this is the fundamental reason why I never have and probably never will get into most soap opera style stuff. It kind of just moves forward, just assuming like, you care about these people, right? Let's go. The thing is, and like, maybe it's because I'm used to more fantastical stuff and like these things lack the hooks that get me to like a lot of other fiction, or I don't know, maybe I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but like it felt like, actually, with both of these, both EastEnders and Hollyoaks, these first episodes did not feel like first episodes. These felt like I was watching a random thing from the middle of a season. There was no onboarding, really, at all. You were expected to pick everything up from context, which I suppose on the one hand kind of makes sense for a soap opera, because if it's successful, it's going to run for so dang long that eventually, people coming on board, that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to pick it up from context. You can't stop and explain it to people all the time, and they're not going to go back and start from the beginning. So I guess in some ways it kind of makes sense to open like that. Felt weird though, because like with Coronation Street, there were a couple of things going on that still felt like markers for the start of something. Coronation Street had, someone taking over this shop, had someone who, was visiting home from university. And then Emmerdale, even more so, somebody had passed away and this guy came back to the farm he grew up on that he hadn't been back for years. That's definitely a start. This, everybody's just here and already knows each other, and nobody's meeting for the first time. So there's no real introductions, and it's just a lot of arguments in an accent I am not as used to hearing. Now, like, it's not an accent I'm completely unfamiliar with. I hear voices, like, I watch enough UK TV and movies. I hear voices like this, but the thing is, like, I guess there's kind of a tokenism to characters with, like, I don't know what the specific accent is of these characters, so I'm not gonna imitate it, and I'm not gonna try and name it because I don't know what it's called. But like this particular accent, I hear, but usually it's restricted to one or two characters per thing. You know what I mean? Because you'll have sort of maybe you'll have a posh character and you'll have a little bit more of a street character, but still pretty, at least to my American ear, pretty standard English accent. Then you get more street level, you get Cockney, and you get whatever this is, and it kind of diversifies the sounds you're hearing. But when I'm hearing only this from six different people in one scene, I don't know. Something in my brain, it made it harder to follow. I think that's a me problem, though. I'm pretty sure that's a me issue. But the last scene in this, just, okay, so the connective tissue of this first episode seems to be like, just, okay, this guy has been taken to the hospital. This old guy that nobody seems to actually like that much has been taken to the hospital, and everyone's talking about it like, oh, poor old Reg, I think it was his name. Yeah, sure, the one character whose name I remember is the guy who doesn't have a single line in the thing. Well, they said his name a lot. But, poor old Reg, and there's people who are sort of going that, oh, poor Reg, and there's other people like, Reg was a jackass. Then there's people who will be like, it's really ticking me off that people are being like, poor old Reg, nobody here liked him. Why are they acting like they do? And then, people sort of sniping at each other over this and talking about it. But it's also not the only thing that's going on, because there's also this couple who look like they're approaching middle age, and it turns out the wife is now pregnant, but the husband is currently unemployed, which pisses the mother of the wife off something fierce. And like, I'm just watching this, I'm going, I suspect that these interactions and these conflicts would carry more weight if I knew these characters and understood their dynamics. But I'm figuring it out as I go, so it's hard. But anyways, the last scene had this shopkeeper, or maybe it was like a grill. He was preparing food at one point, so I'm not entirely sure. But like he's at a pub, and this guy who just seems to be like one of the bad ones, because he had a gold earring and it was in the 80s. So like, oh yeah, okay. Punk-ish. I mean, like, not proper punk, but the 80s had a thing where, like, a guy with a single earring, it either was denoting that he was gay or it was denoting that he was a criminal of some kind. In this case, I'm pretty sure it was the latter. But like, they just get into a fight, and the two of them get thrown out of the bar. And then I think it was the guy with the earring, like, just suddenly puts his fist through the door of the bar, like from the outside, and then just cut to credits. And I was just left going, what was that? But as much as this made me go, what was that? EastEnders really only made me do that at the end. I was going, what is that? Pretty much off the bat with Hollyoaks. Like, this freaking thing. Oh man, a massive issue with this. This sounds like it's going to be minor, but I need you to understand the persistence of this problem. The music. There's this entire opening sequence that involves this very distinct looking car running off the road. These four teenagers, or at least we're meant to believe they're teenagers. I'm bad at judging that age range at this rate anyway. Maybe the actors actually were teenagers. They all looked like they were in their 20s to me, but whatever, I don't know. But like, they have to get out of the car because suddenly the car explodes, and then like the police show up, and like one of them's injured, but the rest like run away. In the meantime, there's this guy on a motorcycle who seems to be like tracking down, almost like practically stalking this girl who's on the bus, and then the cops spot him and start chasing him. So apparently he's got like some kind of history or something. And throughout this entire thing, and these sequences are back to back and they go on a while. It is the jauntiest little kind of guitar thing. Ding 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 ding. It's this weirdly chipper music the whole time. And I suspect this was not an artistic choice. This was a piece of stock music that they had, that they just put it on loop because they didn't have anything better. And holy cow, did it make the first few scenes so surreal. So freaking weird. Okay, so beyond that, this kind of had a similar issue, for me at least. Again, not my genre. I'm not the intended audience. Don't know why. Don't know why they wanted me to watch this, but hey, it's your money. So we've got this same kind of EastEnders issue of like just dropping me in the middle and expect me to pick up on context. The problem is I don't like any of these people. Unlike EastEnders, where it's like, I don't know if I like you because like I'm just being presented to you with so little context, I don't have a sense of you. Here, I got a sense of most of these people pretty quickly, and nearly all of them I was like, oh, you're awful. Ugh, no. Actually, I'd rather not. Like the one who was on the motorcycle, I think his name was Kurt. Oh, what a jackass. And like he's like the stereotypical bad boy, but he's like this weird lingering 80s stock character bled over into the 90s, and it's uncomfortable. You know, he literally refers to a girl as a sex object, and he's not really joking, and like he's presented as if I'm meant to find him charming, and I just don't. Like at all. Like I've seen some things pull off okay, that guy's bad news, but there is a charisma there. You know, that's Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club. I've seen it work. This guy, no. I'm like literally every character that he was talking to, I found myself going like, ew, get away from them. Leave them alone. Go straighten out your own life, you creep. Like both men and women. I wanted him to get away from everybody. There was one character I liked, whose name I don't remember, but he had really short, it looked like peroxide dyed blonde hair. He was charming. He also came across a bit like he's probably a little bit of a tool, probably gets into a little bit of trouble, but his jokes were playful, whereas Kurt, his jokes were, I think women exist for my pleasure. Ha 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 ha. Piss off, man. No, this other guy was nice. I liked him. And like, weird moment comes out of nowhere towards the back end. We hear the blonde guy's thoughts at one point because they like sneak their way into a party. But then Kurt and his friend, or I guess his toady, it's like the guy's practically attached at the hip. They decide like, no, we're not going to stay. We're going to leave. But then the blonde guy's like, he stops and you literally hear his thought process, which was so random. But he's like, oh, well, should I go and stick by my mate? Oh, but what's he going to do though? He's not doing anything. Nah, I should just stay here. Like, it was cute and it was kind of sweet and it was silly. I liked him. That was about it. I guess there was nothing really wrong with any of the girls, and there just wasn't a lot there. Although they also kind of had this weird shallow thing going. Like one of their friends comes up at the party and they're like, "Oh God, it's her with this guy," and like the show had kind of set this up where like they don't like this girl's boyfriend, but they're literally like going like in front of her, and But and then like even this girl with the dud of a date isn't like portrayed nicely because she's like, well, I don't like him for his personality or like what I forget what the hell the line was. It was some catty bitchy nonsense. And normally I try and avoid that kind of like gender derogatory when talking about these things, but like all these people were jackasses. Well, nearly all these people were jackasses. I would say that like of the four I watched, this was the one I am most like, nope, nope, I never want to see any of you people again. Like Coronation Street was dull and boring, but I could see like some places it could go. Emmerdale was slow and quiet, but had some solid setup in terms of the characters and establishing the existing dynamics. EastEnders, I just felt kind of lost, but I felt like I could probably catch up and like care about some of you people with time. Hollyoaks, I watched this and like, you're all awful. I hope 90% of this cast gets hit by a bus. No. Big no. So, yeah. So ends my strange journey of not only looking at British soap operas, but looking at the premiere episodes of stuff that is at least 20 years, ranging from 65 to 20 years old. No, 30. 30, because Hollyoaks was 90. Yeah. 65 to 30 years old. I don't know why you wanted me to review this stuff. But hope you feel like you got your money's worth, because I don't know, man. These things, I don't know. Thoughts? Do you have any? I got nothing left. Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon was how I was commissioned to do this. I plugged that earlier. Don't worry too much about it, though. Like, share, subscribe. They all help me out. But, ultimately, just don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here. You can just come on back next time you need a break. The hell did I watch? And now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Goddess Elida, Zubin Lopfula, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Oliver B., Melissa Pedersen, Movie Turtle, Melinda Walters, Auntie Kate 808, Andre, Becky Sparks, Claire Wright, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Quite Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Toku Blahuvian, Adam RDL Taylor, Pal Barabajoggle, Mary Mello, Mira G, Sir Didymus is my favorite. I've never screwed that one up before. Well, if you want to hear me mess up your name, check out the rewards on the Patreon. I'm going to blame you.